Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Monday, guys. Chosen ones, get ready for increase. Chosen ones, get ready for increase. In fact, many of you have already experienced a level of increase, but more is coming. Okay, so you would have to be under a rock to know that things are just crazy in the world, period. Things are just crazy, out of whack, out of sync, the whole 9 yards. But this shift, they tried to, and I'm not going to say that, because there's clearly still racial tension, of course, but this shift is actually more about good versus evil, right? More about good versus evil. And again, I'm not trying to dismiss the fact that there isn't racial tension. Like, let's keep it real here, right? But I'm speaking specifically right now. This shift is about good versus evil. Every wicked person, in whatever way that may be, just wicked, dark, demonic, just whatever they had going on, the shift is here. Again, you're seeing Hollywood tank in so many different areas. It's beyond Puffy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Love, whatever, right? It is so beyond that. Now, that is a distraction tactic, not to say he's innocent, by all means. But it's a distraction tactic. Why do you think you don't see a whole lot of coverage on these hurricanes that has flooded and wiped out certain towns? And maybe I'll speak on that too. But there's a lot of evil that has been done and being done. These are things that we were blind to. Let it be because they kept us away from it or had us distracted or whatever. But a lot of people's eyes are completely open now. What I envision, what's in my spirit now, what do you call those conveyor belts? Like, I guess like if you're in the airport, or even those escalators, like there's one going up and one going down, like just next to each other, but they're moving at the same time, but one is going up, one is going down. So the shift is like that. It's almost like the shift won't happen overnight per se, right? You hear about things happening overnight, but this shift is currently going on. It's currently moving. There are evil people who are being moved and shifted, but then there's the chosen people who are going up. So it's very, it's so hard to explain things that I feel in my spirit in words. But anyway, chosen ones, wealth transfers. Wealth transfers are here. Wealth transfers are here. The wealth of the wicked, right? Where's my Bible scripture? People, help your girl out. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. Is that correct? Remember I posted a video a couple of days ago, and a lot of you guys actually liked that video. And I stated that God had given you a promise a very long time ago, and he told you to lock onto that. Be quiet, don't tell a soul. For a lot of you, finances were tied up in that. Some of you, I'm sure, is kingdom partners and stuff like that. But some of you, a lot of you, finances were some kind of way tied up in that. He promised you some type of financial increase. But again, it's almost like he gave it to you, but you didn't see anything happening in the spiritual realm. Get prepared for increase of different sorts. Again, some of you guys you're feeling it, and it has manifested to you through God. But then there are some of you who are in the darkest time of your life right now. All you have to do is pass this test and come out of this storm. A lot of the times before major, and I'm speaking all caps, major blessings, you will hit a season that literally you will question if you're going to make it out of that season. That's how heavy it is. That's how dark it is. That's like, you will literally question if you're going to make it literally out of this season. All you have to do is keep standing, trusting, and believing. All you have to do is stay in the moment. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about next month. Stay in those kind of seasons. God literally needs you to stay, because it's so heavy and it's so dark that the enemy will have you thinking ahead about, if the marriage failed, what am I going to do? If I lost a job, how am I going? Like, that's not where you need to be. You got to literally stay in the moment as God protects your mind. The enemy is trying to snatch your mind. He snatched everything else. So now he's trying to snatch your mind. Because if he snatched your mind, where are you going? Also, before major breakthroughs, and guys, I'm speaking major. I'm not speaking about a new car or a new house. I mean, that's great, right? Grateful for everything God gives us. I'm speaking life-changing, major increase in blessings. So if he didn't hit you with the heavy spiritual attack, well, actually that ties in. So it's the heavy spiritual attack, but then he's hitting you with some type of life transformation. So that can look like a divorce. That can look like a job loss. It's something major. And so I'm going to just have to say this, but a lot of the times before major breakthroughs, you will have to lose everything. And I mean everything. It's a transformation period. See, you answered the call, right? You answered the call, then you hit an isolation season. That's when God pulled you away or whatever. He may have relocated you. He may have had everybody to leave you. Like something happened where you were all by yourself. Okay, so he isolated you. That was just to get your attention. Like, okay, you ain't going back to whatever life you had before answering this call. So let me isolate you, right? That's a whole season within a season, right? So he isolated you. As much as you kick... I just had a flashback because this was me, what I'm about to say. As much as you kick, scream, and cried to get up out of that isolation season, you ain't going nowhere. The isolation season is designed to get your attention that, okay, you're not going back to that relationship. You're not going back to that marriage. You're not going back to whatever you had going on. But I have not showed you exactly where you're going to. All you know is that I isolated you. So you think it's punishment that I made that person leave you. You think it's punishment that I caused the family strife, well, not per se caused, but used it, if you will, right? You think it's punishment that everybody turned their back on you. You think it's punishment that I snatched that job from you, even though you were like the best worker and you went whenever they called you, honey, you was the first one to clock in on your day off. You think it's punishment. And it only feels like punishment because you don't know what he's doing. You can't see. In some of those storms, you can't even see, right? There's some storms where it's not as heavy, where you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, kind of know what God is doing. But then there are certain storms, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. You're blind, literally. All right, so some people are there. All right, a lot of you guys have came out of that. So now what many of you guys are in, right? I'm not speaking now to my people who are in due season. If you're in due season, then you've been through this. You know, you can vouch for it. Thank God we got our edges, because let me just tell you, right? But now some of you guys, what you're going through now is transformation. So again, you've been isolated. You came out of that. You assume you would go from isolation to due season. No. You're still the same person you were before you were isolated. So now you're in transformation, where the things he didn't take in isolation, he's going to take in transformation from you. Everything that we accumulated on our own, if it had nothing to do with purpose and calling, we didn't know. We were just surviving. So you chose that school, you chose that neighborhood, you chose that house, you chose that man, you chose that chick because she was thick, right? We chose based on just life. We didn't know any better. We didn't know we was going to be called or chosen. We didn't know any of that stuff. And truth be told, half of that stuff have us in bondage anyway. Let it be a house that you're upside down on the mortgage, car you're upside down on the mortgage, a man who you got a whole soul tie with, but you can't leave this nutcase because you don't even like him, but you can't leave, right? Oh my goodness, honey. Who don't even like you and can't leave? If that ain't some kind of demonic spirit, soul tie, whatever you got going on. So a lot of the things that was not removed in isolation will be removed in transformation, including every single trauma you've experienced will have to be addressed. So some of you right now, one person in particular I'm thinking about, and I actually know that this is her situation, but he's snatched everything, and you feel like you're losing your mind. And it feels very, all caps, very unsettling. You don't feel safe. Because see, remember, prior to answering the call, we made everything feel like we put up our own little protective guards and gates and stuff like that. And transformation, that's coming down. So whatever we created on our own, that nest egg, because I'm going to feel comfortable, right? Because if he leave me, I got to fall back on something, right? I got to have this side hustle, this barber shop cutting hair just in case I lose my main job. Like all that stuff that we literally placed around ourselves to protect ourselves. Like I'm not going to let anybody in and get too close to me because I've been hurt before and all these, so I'm going to guard my heart. All those things that we placed in transformation season will be removed. It will be the most raw feeling you have ever in your life experienced. It's like sitting butt naked on a floor somewhere of an empty house, like a house that has like a brand new house with no furniture, just raw, just raw. It's a very raw, unsettling feeling. You don't feel safe. So what God is doing is he's removing every single thing that no longer serves you or may have served you in the last season, but it's not going to serve you in due season where you're going. The only way you can shorten that season, a bird literally just sitting staring at me. The The only way you can shorten that season, let it be if you're in isolation or transformation, is to submit to the process. What keeps us in those seasons longer, and I'm sure raising my hand over here, what keeps us in those seasons longer is we fight against the process. We're literally going against the current. And listen, at the end of the day, we're human, right? So it is what it is. But what will eventually happen is he'll let you keep fighting against the current. Just means you're trying to do everything he's trying to take from you. You're trying to like a wildcat hold on to it, and he's making it very clear to you you're not going back. But now you, in your own emotions and your own survivor mode, like you're trying to go back and make that relationship work, right? You're trying to call the person back. You're trying to, when God has already been clear, you're trying to go back and plead to get that job back, where he's telling you, you're not going back to that job. I have a whole ministry for you. I have a whole business for you. The season of lack is up. I'm trying to give you more. So that's all what going against the current means. Like you're fighting against every single thing. Whatever he's doing in your life, you're literally fighting against it. And so what he'll do is he'll let you keep spinning your wheels and watering dead grass until you get to the place where you literally tire yourself out and you have absolutely zero fight in you. So you couldn't go against the current if you wanted to. So you just fully surrender and you fully submit. Boom. That's exactly where he wants you at. Because now that he have you here, you can hear. See, when you're going against the current, you can't hear anything. If you're in this season, I wish somebody had told me this, but maybe he had me go through it so I could tell somebody this. If you're in that season, here's one of the most important things you can do. Ask God, what is the message? Literally. Now, if you're still fighting against the current and hanging on like a wildcat, you're probably not going to hear him. You got to get to the place where you're ready to surrender and shut your distractions down. What is the message? He will make it so clear to you why you can't go back and where he's about to take you. Now, he's not going to give you the whole, you just know what he has for you is better. So that trifling, that trifling dude in last season who you had a soul tie with and straight trifling, right? He's taking that to give you something so much better. But you can't receive that right now. That job that you've been on for 57 years, all your knees hurting, these people won't even give you a raise. They don't even tell you thank you. No. The time of lack is over. There's a spiritual shift for the chosen one. It's increase after increase after increase. In order for him to increase you in any area, relational, financial, and it's also your gifts, right? Your gifts is going to also increase. So that family that you were brought up in, let it be biological or adopted into or whatever, the fact that you were never accepted, but you've done everything in your life, especially my chosen ones, to be accepted, and it seems as if life cheated you because you didn't get to experience the quote unquote that traditional family, traditional love, knowing how that family unit feels. He's about to give you that in the form of another family. That can look like a spouse in their big family, or that can look like your soul tribe. But he has to pull you from that. So here you are, your heart is still breaking because it seems like no matter what you do, they will never love you. They will never accept you. They were constantly ganging up on you. Like nobody had your back, all the stuff, right? He got to pull you from that. So this transformation season is very uncomfortable. I'm not in one. Well, I'm in one, but not like what I'm speaking about now, but I've been through that one. And it is extremely uncomfortable. But I'm telling you now, as a person who's in due season, keep in mind, there's still levels of due season. I'm in due season, but I'm being watched. Right? Right. I'm having some increase in different areas, per se, but I'm still being watched. So don't get it twisted. Don't get to due season and think you got it all figured out. Because you get thrown right on back. Keep it cute. Keep it cute. Whatever you do, I honestly, this video was going to be more so less geared towards the increase the chosen ones are currently receiving or will receive. But now I'm stuck on this transformation part. So I got to stay here. Whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is God has taken from you, you may be homeless. Nobody probably got your back. You probably don't have nobody. It's dark and gloomy. Please, whatever you do, stay in the race. Whatever you do, whatever God has removed or trying to remove, trust him enough to take your hands up off of it. He is literally trying to give you better. You can't receive that now, but he's trying to give you better. He has to give you better because as a chosen one, this is our time. As a chosen one, chosen just means God tapped you, but all caps, you answered. You're willing to go through the transformation season, which you're currently in. So he has to prepare you for it. He can't use who you were. How in the world is he going to use us coming from a season of lack in the sense of mindsets or however we were like just foolishly living and just keeping people around who were just toxic to us? How is he going to use us and have us skip a whole transformation season to be prepared for major blessings? We'll mess it up. You have the same people who you left in the season of lack with you in due season. If they're lying and cheating and stealing now, what do you think will happen in due season? If he's not coming home now, what is he going to do if you take him to due season and he have even more access? If they're not faithful and loyal now and you're questioning if this person is stealing from you, if this person is betraying you behind your back, what are they going to do when it's much more abundance? That hurt and that betrayal is going to be times 5. So God is trying to handle all that now. But one thing for sure, when you come up out of this transformation season, it's going to blow your mind. The blessings await you. The promises that God has for you. And the crazy part about it is some of the stuff you don't even know about. Like God, like you may think God want to just bless you, right? But see, we be putting caps and limits and ceilings on what we think God want to do for us. But it's way, way, way more than what you think. Trust the process. Stay in the moment. Stop trying to go back. Even if you feel like he's silent and you don't know the next step to go forward, just be still. There's something he's doing. If he relocated you and you feel like you made the wrong move because you don't see any movement, you haven't met anybody, everything's quiet, but you know God called you there, be still. He will make it clear to you on your next move. Just be still. Don't go back. There's nothing back. If you try to go back, don't waste your time. Chosen one, it's our time. We made it. The most crucial thing we have to do is remember the details of what God told us to do and not to do in prior seasons. There were certain instructions given on you what or what not to do when you enter due season. We may have not labeled it due season at the time, but just whatever he dropped into your spirit and told you to lock onto, there were certain things he told you to do and not to do. You're going to be tested with those very same things. Don't lose what God told you, because if you're not wise, when God starts to increase you, you will start to get, if you're not careful, you start to get big-headed. It's almost like you'll start to kind of forget everything he told you and what that stuff was for. And now because you had low self-esteem in high school and now you got abundance of certain things, you're going to lose your mind, honey. You giving all the money to the strippers when God told you to start the ministry, right? You slipping, bro. Like God will literally throw you back. I'm telling you. How many times we thought we were in due season and just to get thrown back to the wilderness? Because we... You make it this far just to get thrown back. Seriously. Tighten up. It's your girl. Kizzy Ross.